Hi there, very good morning. Welcome to ET. Now you're watching Market Café with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena. Over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through all the domestic and global cues that you need to keep on your eye and also tell you about the stocks that you need to keep on your radar today. But let's get started with an eye on the globe first and see how the US markets have fared overnight. Well, it did close lower for the second straight session overnight, that is on Wednesday, as AI heavyweights like Nvidia, Oracle and Micron, they lost momentum on valuation concerns, and there was also risk of complex deal linkages in the AI sector. Now, looking at the three major indices, now Dow Jones fell about 170 points to that 46,121 level. That's down about 0.4%. On the other hand, S&P 500, that slipped about 20 points. It's down about 0.2%. On the other hand, Nasdaq, that dropped nearly 80 points to that 22,500 level, down about 0.3%. Apart from that, in after hours trading, one bright spot was a 1.5% gain that came in Intel. That's after reports that it sought an investment from Apple, and hence Intel is going to be in focus today as well in the US markets. Now, in terms of what to watch out for next in the US, investors are awaiting weekly jobless claims data that is due tonight, and that is something that we'll be eyeing out for further Fed policy cues. And apart from that, Friday's PCE inflation index, that is also looming large. Apart from that, markets also remain watchful of risk from a potential US government shutdown. So that's the reason US markets are in focus. So it was a pretty the markets did end on a red for the second straight session, but US futures, they're largely steady as of this morning.
Alright, so that's how the Wall Street is looking like. But let's find out how oil prices are shaping up. Well, oil prices climbed more than 2% to a 7-week high on Wednesday as a surprise drop in the US weekly crude inventories added to a sense in the market of the tightening supplies amid export issues in Iraq, Venezuela and Russia. Now remember, Brent futures rose $1.68 or 2.48% to close in at $69.31 a barrel, while the WTI futures rose $1.58 or 2.49% to settle in at $64.99 a barrel. Now that put Brent on track for its highest close since 1st of August and WTI on track for its highest close since 2nd of September. Now remember, US crude inventories fell by a surprise 607,000 barrels last week. That's the word that came in from the Energy Information Administration. Now that compares with the 235,000 barrels build that the analysts had forecasted in the Reuters poll, but was smaller than the 3.8 million barrel draw market that the sources were penciling in from the American Petroleum Institute Trade Group that cited the figures on Tuesday. Now, as of now, the crude prices, like I mentioned, have settled in. Brent is settled in at $69 a barrel, and WTI is hovering around the $64-65 odd dollars a barrel. So that's how the crude is settled in at.
All right, thanks, Ankita.